Hey everyone, welcome back to Where Are We, the series where we are interviewing amazing agents from across the country. I'm Carolyn Carino with the Lake Real Estate Group here in Sarasota, Florida, and today I'm very excited to bring you Christina Marmonti in Southern New Hampshire. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I am so excited. So Christina is with Keller Williams Gateway Realty. Again, we are talking about Southern New Hampshire. Fun fact, she does service as well. Is there another state too?
Nope, just Massachusetts and New Hampshire.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. So we are really talking about this lower area of the state of New Hampshire. And she does go all the way down to the Boston area. And I'm so excited because she has some really cool tidbits to tell us. I'm going to zoom out so you can see exactly where we are. Again, we are right around here. So, like always, who is moving there? Who's living there?
Right now we have a lot of people commuting up from Massachusetts because Massachusetts tends to tax people more than not. So since New Hampshire is a state that doesn't have income tax and they are really generous in terms of taxes on your retirement money when you pull that out. So a lot of people are kind of heading our way because of that.
For that, yeah.
Yeah. We also have a lot of people coming back north from the south. People have told us that it's getting too hot down there, so they want a less humid climate. So, but I don't know how much longer it's going to be less humid up here because it gets pretty humid too. So
and cold. So they're going to get there and go, oh.
Yeah.
So you're working with a lot of families also. You have 2 kiddos yourself, so that's a big push. So what types of properties are we looking at in the Southern New Hampshire area?
So we have a lot of single family stock here. A lot of it's older housing stock. Towards the major cities, we do have some condos and multifamily unit buildings, but it's mainly because we're more spread out. It's mainly single family houses. I would say like around, once you cross the border from Massachusetts into New Hampshire, a lot of those border towns have a 2.5 acre minimum for lots. So a lot of them, tend to have more space to spread out when they put their housing on it.
That's amazing. And it's funny because we were talking about how is it when it's snowing and, wearing, what do you wear when you're showing properties? And you have to wear boots and things like that because you're walking property, because most of these single family homes have a lot of space around those homes, which a lot of people are looking for. And not just in the Southern New Hampshire area, you were 2 hours out, I believe, where that 45 acre property was. So 45 acres of vacant land, and that was $350,000.
It was, yep.
I mean, that's amazing.
It was. Yeah, that was more west. So we have, as you go west of New Hampshire, it looks like a very small state, but believe me, to travel from one end of it to the other takes a couple hours. So it's not as small as you would think. When I first moved up here, I was like, how bad could it be? My best friend lived in Hampstead, New Hampshire, and I moved to, the Nashua area, and it's 45 minutes for me to get to her house. And I was like, I thought we were in the same little teeny weeny sliver of a state. Like, how is so far? But it does. Yeah. So out west we have mountains, and then north we have mountains, and Southern New Hampshire is, a little hilly, but it's not as mountainous as once you go north and west.
Yeah. But you do have some space between houses, which we do not have much of here. So that's really nice to hear. And so average price point for the single family homes in the Southern New Hampshire area?
It's about $450,000, but as you head towards the seacoast, obviously that's, much higher. And now around the lakes region, so in central to southern New Hampshire, we have a bunch of beautiful lakes that people are all gravitating towards, and the price point up there is much higher. I would say $700,000 range. So
what was the lake called again?
Lake Winnipesaukee is the biggest. It's one of our biggest, I would say, tourist attraction lakes. It has year-round stuff that's going on. They have ice fishing derbies on it in the winter and giant hockey tournaments because the ice freezes. And then in the spring, they have what they call an ice out event where the sheets of ice all melt out, and then all of the summer residents return to their cottages. There's a bunch of cottages, but there's a lot of multi-million-dollar homes on the lake, and there's, I want to say, around 300 islands on the lake because it's such a big lake. So there's some of them that are connected by bridges, and then some of them you actually have to take a boat out to get to. I actually have a friend that has a house on one of the islands, and he actually owns a hovercraft because he can't always guarantee that he can get to his house with the boat. When it freezes over, take the hovercraft over, and it's kind of fun.
Note to self, moving to New Hampshire, getting a hovercraft. Okay, awesome.
Yep.
We did talk a little bit about investors also, and I didn't really think about condos, but condos are a big deal for investors there. If you can tell us a little bit on that.
Yep, here in southern New Hampshire, especially the Nashua area, and also in Manchester and Concord, condos are getting scooped up pretty quickly by a lot of cash investors that are coming in, and then they rent them out. As you know, rent prices have been steadily increasing, so if they buy them for cash and do it quickly, then they can make the numbers work and still, recoup on their investment. And they usually long-term hold them, and that's pretty much what's been happening a lot. So it kind of puts pressure on those first-time people that are trying to just get out of the, get their own place, and there tends to be a lot of competition.
Right. But I love my first-time home buyers. I really do. And I do love my investors as well. So if you are an investor, that sounds like a really great spot to start looking because they're picking up. There are new mandates happening in Mass that you were saying. So maybe Christina might be a great option to talk to for some new investment opportunities. And we talked about amenities. So we have the lakes, we have the mountains, we have space, we have the no taxes pretty much. Let's see what else. Oh, one of the other things that I thought was really funny, because here we have septic and well in some places, and that is kind of frowned upon for whatever reason. I think it's a pretty magical thing too, because you don't have utility bills. So that's where we are in the New Hampshire area. And then
and then I have clients that moved from Massachusetts because they're typically on a city water system or city sewer system. I always have to educate them on what it's going to be like, because when you're used to having everything be able to be flushed down the toilet and no repercussions from that, or when you're used to not having to pump out your own stuff, then that's a little bit of a culture change. But I always tell them it's totally worth it, because you're in control of your own stuff and you don't have the quarterly bills that you would have in Massachusetts. And
you just have the upkeep of the system itself. And it's a lot less expensive. So it was a big plus. Well, thank you so much for all this information.
Yeah.
Where are we? We are in southern New Hampshire and northern Mass. So this is Christina Marmonti with Keller Williams Gateway Realty. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. I am Carolyn Carino with the Link Real Estate Group in Sarasota, Florida. And this is Where Are We? And we will see you soon. Thank you.